What's going on YouTube? Mr. Wheels here once again, welcoming you to another edition of Sports Talk. Alright, so you might be thinking that this is my 2016 playoff predictions video. Unfortunately, there's some games still to go tonight that could change the playoff matchups, and I'm going to wait until at least later tonight to make that video until the playoff bracket is set in stone. So hold tight on that. What I do want to talk about is the fact that for the last 25 straight years, the Detroit Red Wings, my favorite team, have made the Stanley Cup playoffs. They will be in the 2016 playoffs, and I'm really excited about that. If you haven't already, please remember to give this video a like. Please comment down below, share this video, and most importantly, if you haven't done it already, please hit that subscribe button. Let's get into talking about the Red Wings and their playoff streak. Now, the main reason why I'm making this video is because for the last month or so, the media has been talking about a hypothetical situation that didn't happen. And that was, will Detroit make the playoffs or not? And their playoff streak is in jeopardy. And yes, it was. Detroit really got in on a technicality. They lost their last regular season game to the New York Rangers earlier this afternoon. And Boston, who was chasing Detroit, would have gone in, but they lost big time to the Ottawa Senators. That was only after beating Detroit in a head-to-head matchup earlier this week, 5-2, to give them a chance to even get into the playoffs. Because before that, Detroit was not tied with Boston like they ended up being tied with them, but they were actually ahead of them. So really, despite Detroit getting in on a technicality, it was in Boston's hands to, seal Detroit's fate and help them not make the playoffs, and Boston just didn't get it done. I mean, they played at home against Ottawa, and they lost 6-1 on home ice. And you know what? Here's a secret. I tried to bet on that game earlier on with Proline, and there was a lot of people betting on that game because there was a limit. Proline only takes a certain number of bets, so I couldn't bet on that game. But I'm happy with the outcome because without a Boston loss, Detroit wouldn't have got in. And now Philly does have 2 games left, but their success will only, because they're in the Metropolitan Division, they'll either get one of the wild card spots. Well, they'll get one of the wild card spots because they can't catch the Islanders or the Rangers. But that's another story. Let's talk about the media a little bit. They deal with hypothetical situations all the time. To me, the bigger story would have been Detroit not making the playoffs. And I want to point out that if Detroit had not made the playoffs this year, I would have still made this video because it still would have been a story. And my views on a lot of sports topics are different than the media's, and that's the main reason why I made this channel to begin with, is because I wanted to express my opinions that were different from a lot of the mainstream media, and I thought that there would be a lot of people out there that thought the same way. So if you're one of those people, once again, please give this video a like and please subscribe. Now that Detroit's made the playoffs, without previewing their playoff matchup with Tampa Bay, the last thing I want to say before I go is Detroit last season when they played Tampa Bay, let's not forget that everybody wrote them off. Everybody thought that series was going to be, a 4-game sweep by Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had 5 games, 6 games. Nobody thought it was going to go 7, except people like me. And let's not forget that it wasn't necessarily Tampa Bay winning that first round series so much as Detroit dropping the ball and losing it. The reason I say that is because Detroit was up 2-1, up 3-2. So that means they won on the road, and they just couldn't get it done in Game 6 And they couldn't get it done on home ice at some point during that series. And Tampa Bay took advantage and ended up winning the series. Now, the reason I bring that up is because we've got deja vu. The same series happening first round again this year. However, it's going to be a very different outcome. I can almost guarantee it because Tampa Bay is not the same team. Let's point out the fact that, a few months ago was looking like Tampa Bay wasn't even going to make the playoffs. And now they've got Stamkos hurt, out with a blood clot. He's had surgery on it. He's out at least 1 to 3 months. Anton Strawman out with a broken leg. Definitely going to miss the playoffs. Ryan Callahan and Victor Hedman are hurt. And what does that mean for Tampa Bay? Well, it means that they're missing a lot of key players. Key players that were key in their run to the Stanley Cup final last year, and they would need them this year in the playoffs versus Detroit. So what does it say for Detroit fans? Even though Detroit's play down the stretch has not been great, with all of the injuries to Tampa Bay, it's like saying, so you're telling me there's a chance. And that's all I really have to say about it. Just want to recap. The media sucks dealing with hypotheticals. My Red Wings are in the playoffs for 25 straight seasons. Who's down with Detroit? I am. This guy is. And we got a first round matchup against Tampa Bay. And anything can happen. It's going to be a close series. I can't wait. Stay tuned for my 2016 playoff predictions video. I will go into more detail about the Red Wings and Tampa Bay in that video. I want to leave what I have to say for that video, so I'm going to get out of here now. Thanks for watching, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.